Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Union Stringcast. I'm CT as always. My partner Chuck Thomas will be around a little bit later, but we're going to go ahead and get started without him. Big shout out and thank you to everybody that came out Saturday night at Sweeney's. Great night. The bands were out of this world, man. Nimrod was such an awesome kick-ass Green Day tribute with the lead vocalist being the drummer. Did not expect that. And then the Foo Fighters tribute was incredible. Monkey Wrench, they were here a couple weeks ago. And Wood, who will be coming up in about 2 weeks, they'll be on the show. Their debut gig, and they were fantastic, guys. Thank you so much once again for coming out. Also, a big shout out to our sponsor, Rosenfeld Dental Associates, located at 1095 Inman Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. Go rock your smile with the Rock Doc. Dave Rosenfeld nominated one of the top dentists in Jersey for 2023. Mention Rock and Roll Union or CT upon booking your first appointment, and you'll get a phenomenal discount for that, guys. We have a great show for you this evening. Like I said, we're going to be doing the second half hour is going to be all talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to talk. There's a lot of people that feel passionately about that. I'm hoping Chuck who's having technical difficulties will be with us by then. But guys, we also have a kick-ass band to introduce you guys to. These guys were the third place winner in the Death Wish Coffee Battle of the Bands, man. They were phenomenal. Please welcome from South Jersey, guys, 4130. Let me unmute you guys there. Guys, thank you so much for taking some time to hang out with us tonight.
No, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man.
Third place, second loser.
And well, there were 24 bands involved in that, man. So you guys beat 21 other bands, so that's not shabby, man. That's not shabby at all.
They were good bands too,
a lot of good bands.
Yeah, man. A lot of good bands.
So, but yeah, guys, how was that experience for you guys? Was that the biggest stage you have been on? How was the whole experience all the way around for you guys?
As a band, I think.
Yeah.
As a band, I feel like it was the biggest stage we've been on thus far, but it's fucking awesome, you know? So everything, man, the people, the venue, the sound.
Yeah. I mean,
it was great, man.
Everything was great. I just felt like I was so far from the rest of my band, especially being a three-piece. We don't take up a whole lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping every band could have fit on that stage at the same time. We all could all play.
Yeah, man.
Play a big medley or something.
Now, I got to ask you, and if anyone has not seen our backstage interview from there, check out on the YouTube channel. But one of the things I think I first asked you guys or mentioned to you guys is for three guys, you have an incredible full sound. And that's something that's not very easy to accomplish. How long did it take you guys to build that up? And with just being three members, are there certain parts of the music do you feel you have to do differently?
I'll let you guys think.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're the most tech guy here.
Oh, great. I mean, you know, being like a heavy metal fan and a hard rock fan and all that, you know, it's a big sound. You know, it's you know, even if it's a five-piece band, you know, there's two guitar players and a singer. You know, I have to take the role of like singer, guitar player, second guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just about getting the right sound. You know, really. I mean, as far as the guitar goes, you know, anyway, I actually use 2 amps, but it's not for sound. It's because of a harmonizer pedal thing, which gives us another dimension. It adds a fourth member without there being one. You know, the technology there helps. But you know, Dave's bass sound, you know, is really a big part of the fullness of the sound.
Yeah.
You know, we made a point to make it just as boomy and as low as ever, you know, and try to give it that real bottom end that people feel. You know, people.
Yeah.
When you hear a band that sounds too thin, even if it is a 5, 6-piece, 3-piece, it doesn't matter. It just has to sound good. When something sounds good, you'll listen and you'll pay attention. And there's, not to sound too technical, of course, Dave wants me to, but there's certain frequencies that hit your ear and they kind of hit your gut at the same time. And you go, man, that sounds cool, you know? But when you have a good sound, man, when you have a good sound system, you're playing in a cool venue or even a small venue. We've played at
Yeah.
smaller places that sound good,
Yeah.
and we pulled it off, I think. And, another thing too, I mean, that I think we put out there more than just the sound and the fullness is really the energy of the music, and not only was it, Dave and I starting the band 2 years ago, but it was adding Dylan like 9 months ago to like bring all the songs and demos we did to like real life, really taking them and making them like actual songs that a band plays in a bedroom. So bringing the music to life made it even bigger. So I think we had a good foundation going in with our demo recordings and our vision. Our vision from day one was what it is now. We're realizing what it is.
It's awesome.
So walk us through a little bit of the back history of 4130. How long you guys been together, and how did you guys meet?
Dave and I met at an old job. We had a job. I started there in 2001, and we probably didn't meet till the next year. But we've been friends for over 20 years. So your daughter's 20, so
Yeah.
we met before she was born. So
Wow.
Dave and I were BMX friends. We found out at the office job we had that we both loved BMX through another guy there. And we just talked every day, during breaks or whatever. And we would send each other. Shut up.
I never heard this part of the story.
But here we go. So sit, grab a seat, grab some popcorn. So we would like send each other like, BMX drawings of frames, and we would dream up these different part names. We were just like super geeked out on BMX. And sometimes at lunch, we'd like bring our bikes in and like ride during lunch just for fun. And I don't know, it's just a cool thing that we did. I don't know why we did it. It was just a cool thing. Sometimes there's people you meet in life that you just have that thing with, like a cool friendship with. And, even though we both ride two different disciplines of BMX, it never mattered. We're both down with BMX. So that was the coolest thing. And, it took us literally, I'd been playing guitar for a while at that point, now over 30 years, but we never picked up instruments together for 18 years of being friends.
Wow.
Literally, we were just BMX friends, and we just would hang out, and that was it. We never thought about music. And at the time, I had an original band in the late 90s who it was a band I had trouble like letting go of the fact that it was never going to be a band again. It was one of those love affairs I had with my band, and I let it go. And one day I said, I just want to be on a stage. And I was in a couple of tribute bands in the last 5 years. And I finally said, it's time for me to go back to writing, go back to being original. And I begged Dave to pick up his old dusty bass, and he did. We kind of jammed in his living room one day, like, I don't know how long ago it was. And we just kind of like noodled around with these riffs that we had. And I don't know, I guess we made a song.
Yeah.
Listening back now, it's not that great, but it was like a foundation of there was something there with us.
Gotcha.
And there always has been as friends. And that's really, being in a band, it's so easy to not like people, it's so easy to find people that like you are great musically, but not as friends, So our thing is like friends first. So like December of 2020, middle of COVID, we still get together. I said, okay, now it's time. I quit my last tribute band. It's time for us to do something. We're literally standing in the same room we're in now. I'm probably in the same spot. My footprints are still there. And Dave was standing across, and we're holding our instruments. I said, look, I got this thing, this riff. And I said, let's write something right now. We're going to do it right now. And we did. And there's a really terrible demo on my phone of it, but we're so proud of it because it turned into what we're doing now.
Hell yeah.
And that's two plus, over 2.5 years ago now. But we basically demoed songs. We had about 6 songs written on our own, and we had demoed them all, and all while looking for a drummer. We figured, let's just record the songs. We can't find a guy that's permanent. We had a couple of drummers, coming and going, and finally we said, we'll just record our songs. We ended up on a compilation that Dave scored for us, and it was just a cool kind of way to get going. And we kept trying drummers, and then Dylan showed up. This guy showed up November of 2022.
Yeah.
So we've only been with him 8+ months.
Wow.
Or 9. I don't feel like doing the math, but about 8+ months now. And we had our first gig, and 3 weeks after we met.
Yeah.
3 weeks after we first jammed, we jammed 3 times, and Dave was just itching to get out. And so we played an open mic at PT's Packaged Goods in Carney's Point. And we kind of like broke the seal and said, okay, we played a gig, like got it out of our systems. And it was, you know, a stepping stone for us. And then we got a gig at the Union in February of 23 this year. And we've just kind of been slowly building the momentum. And the Landis to me was, I was texting Dave about it before we had it. I said, this is going to be for us a pivotal gig. Win or lose, it's not about winning or losing. It's about the progress of our band.
Yeah.
And just kind of keep going forward with everything and always have like progress, just constantly moving. And, each practice changes us, each live gig changes us.
So a couple quick questions for you guys. As far as going from a tribute or a history of doing tribute bands into doing originals, how much freer do you feel doing that, and how much more content are you as a person or as a musician playing originals as opposed to covers or tributes?
For me, it's 100% what I want to do. It's absolutely, it's just something inside me. I have to create music. I have to do something with it. I need an outlet for, something that's just burning inside of me. I can't explain that. It's something people are just given. I love music. I always have, even as a kid, but, becoming an adult and figuring out what you do love. And when it hit me hard. And, it was the heavier stuff and, Metallica, and that was like, I learned all their stuff and as much as I could to my ability. But it led me into, I want to do that too. I want to play my own songs instead of learning someone else's. So
Gotcha.
I started writing, I guess, 30 years ago, maybe 29 years ago. But I made it
one of our viewers has a question for you guys. What's your amp of choice? What kind of equipment you guys like using?
You got the orange shirt on.
Well, isn't it obvious? No, I mean, definitely orange. I mean, I had a 5150, the block letter edition for years, and great amp, beautiful amp. Everyone is sought after now, but too heavy for me. I'm an old man now. Don't need all that in my life. So I'm a combo amp guy now. Orange, just 60 watt, Crush 60 watt. And I do have a Mesa Boogie Mark V 25 watt with a rectifier cabinet, which is cool because that gives me my Metallica sound, but not in this band. That's just something I do because it's, cool. But this band, I wanted my own sound. I wanted my own tone. And Dave's slowly getting on board with the orange stuff, but it doesn't matter. It's all about how we sound together. Yeah. There's really no ego in the band. There's no, butting heads at all. We all just kind of work together and try to be as diplomatic as we can. And it works out. But yeah, orange is cool,
Awesome. This question's for Dylan. How did you guys end up meeting? Because he's so much younger than you guys. And I don't want to be out of place for saying this, but he's like, I want to say a decade or two younger. But
we were trolling the high schools.
They're my dad. They adopted me. No, I think I just saw someone post on Facebook or something. They needed the drummer. I was looking to get back into playing music. I hit up Chad. He sent me the songs, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, I'm in." So that was it, man. Yeah, we jammed, and
nice.
We're here now.
That's awesome.
History. Yeah, man.
And the other question that I have, and I'm not sure who the right one to ask this is, what does 4130 stand for? Where's the name come from?
Well, like Chad said, we met through BMX, and 4130 is actually the greatest steel that they use to make BMX bikes.
Gotcha.
When you're buying a BMX bike, if you want, like there's mild steel bikes that are like cheaper. You want the nice bike, you want the 4130.
Gotcha. Man. Now, as far as upcoming shows, your calendar, your schedule, what are you guys looking at?
We got the Rusty Nail tomorrow night. That's with the Hungry and the Dangerous. They're from Tennessee. The Azores, they're right up in North Jersey, and Night Fury. And then next week we're at Jabberjaws on Friday night, the 25th. We're with Shambolic, Powwow, which is Pain of Wisdom in a world of waste.
And then Communication Lost.
Communication
right?
Lost. We're back at the Rail House in Westville in September 16th. We're going to be with Gutter Royal and Meat Plow.
Awesome guys.
And then we got the Indie Elephant Music Fest in October down in AC. We're the first band on that Sunday, October 15th.
Nice. Guys, please welcome my guest host. He was also part of the show that you guys played at the Landis. Guys, please welcome Chuck Thomas.
What up,
Yo,
Chad?
Chuck, what's going on, dude?
What up, guys? How you doing?
All right.
Good, man.
Sorry to be tardy to the party. I'm trying to figure out my fucking setup in my room,
At
and I
least
thought I had it all set up, and I don't. So I'm back on the phone.
I don't
But,
feel tardy.
It's nice to meet you guys, man. It's good to see you guys.
But now, as far as finding 4130, I know you guys are on Spotify. How can people get a hold of you guys as far as either social media pages, website, that kind of thing?
You can find everything. Like we have a link tree, and it's just 4130band.nj is like our link tree tag, and that takes you everywhere. It takes you to our show event, takes you to our socials, takes you to our Spotify.
Now, here's something fun that Chuck has not done with me. This is only Chuck's second show, but we're playing a game, if you guys don't mind playing, called What the Fuck. So the thing is, there's dice, and I'm going to roll the dice, and I have a book in here that corresponds to the dice and asks you a wildly inappropriate question. Now, usually it would be A or B, but we're going to do one or two. So you guys can all play. Just hold up one finger or two fingers, and we'll talk about it when we're done. So the question being asked, red, white, and blue, is 215. And if a witch offered you 3 wishes if you first found her a strung out and sick homeless person to sacrifice, would you agree to do it? 1 for yes, 2 for no. We'll do a little countdown. You hold up whatever fingers. So 3, 2, 1. What do you guys got?
You give them a crackhead to sacrifice.
Oh shit.
Yeah, sure. I don't like humans.
What is yes?
Yeah.
2?
How about you, Chuck? Where are you standing on that one? 3 win. Oh, Chuck is muted. Let me. Gotta unmute yourself, Chuck. There we go. So, what do you think, Chuck? Is it worth sacrificing a homeless vagrant for 3 wishes?
Male or female?
It doesn't matter.
How long they've been homeless?
I don't know. What do you guys
Like-
think? How long?
Like, did they have ratty hair?
I wouldn't sacrifice a homeless.
As long as one of my wishes is a 300-pound brisket.
300-pound brisket.
How about this?
Yeah.
What if we sacrifice the homeless person and then we wish for the homeless person to come back to life? So we burned a wish, but we still got our other 2.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
idea.
not a bad idea, man. Not a bad idea. Now,
You got me burning my wish.
how about this? We'll change it up this way for you guys. What would your 2 wishes be? Could be anything in this world.
Unlimited pizza.
Some of the kitchen.
Man, that's easy.
I'll let you guys pick the next one.
Unlimited drumsticks. How about that?
Oh yeah, man.
Drum keys,
Yeah, for
bass
real.
strings,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Unlimited
Man.
BMX.
Yeah.
The 4130.
A little bit of useless information. You know what other musician was a big BMX rider before he became who he is today?
I do.
I know you know who it is, Chuck.
What was the question again?
What other musician was a big BMX rider, even took place in tournaments and things along those lines before he became who he is today?
Slash.
Yeah,
Yep.
Slash.
Exactly. Yeah. Slash.
Mr. Hudson.
Saul Hudson for the bonus question.
Yeah. Saul Hudson, man.
Guys, since I missed the beginning of the interview, I did want to say, man, I fucking caught both of your sets, you know, the first round, and then when you came back for the final round. Guys are fucking fantastic, man. I really dig your sound. Got a fucking great
Thank you.
fucking old, like just an authentic fucking metal rock sound. Really good stuff, man. I really dig your stuff.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a
That's
lot.
awesome.
Hey, you guys did great, man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you guys were killer. Everybody was so good there. Like,
Yeah,
It
man.
was, especially the second round, man. It was a fucking
Huge,
blast.
man.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah.
That was an awesome night, man.
Every band was so different. It was impossible to
Yeah.
judge what
Yeah.
was going on.
Yeah, I do. I agree. But Nitro. I think Nitro deserved. Like, I wasn't upset that Nitro won. I thought they were fantastic. I guess I
Yeah,
wouldn't have been
they were
upset if
great.
anybody won, but they
Yeah.
were incredible, man. But you guys too, like, especially the first round I saw you guys, man. You fucking blew me away. I had no idea what to expect, and you guys just have such a great, like, authentic fucking just this like genuine sound that's fucking just you don't get no more, you know.
Yeah.
thank you. I
Yeah.
think
Fucking kill it, man.
that's really one of the things we've always gone for. Like we never sat down and said, "Hey, let's sit here and write a #1 hit tune."
Right.
Yeah. Every song we write comes from like a place of like anger or pain or everything we write. It's like we got something in the basement we need to get out, and I think having that personal connection with the songs really comes through when we play, and I think people are able to connect to that.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I fully agree. I felt that for sure.
Now that we're bringing up other people that took part in that contest, I gotta give it up to Strange Velvet just because of how young they were, and it's inspirational to see some of the young heads still carrying that torch.
Yeah, they had an incredible, like, authentic, like, older sound for their age. You know, they just had, like a cool, like, Doors. They had like a lot of really cool stuff that I would have thought that the guys that age would have no fucking idea who they were. You know, it was real cool how it was almost like they came from the fucking 70s.
Yeah, and now to find out that the drummer who was also the singer during the contest is coming out from behind the kit, and they're replacing him with another drummer. So interested to see where they take that.
You know, I saw them at Casey Ray's the Thursday before the final round, and they didn't have a drummer. They had they did an acoustic set, and it was like, dude, it was night and day compared to what we saw at the battle. It was like incredible. I couldn't believe that. I mean, I was blown away by them on Thursday. I didn't see their very first round, but when I saw them play acoustic, it kind of threw me because the songs that I had heard from them were the electric stuff, the stuff they performed at the battle, and then they came at the battle and with a whole different dynamic. It was nuts, man. It was pretty impressive.
Oh, and one thing I wanted to say to Dave while I have Dave on the camera is I saw your post about your daughter and it kicks ass that she's a hockey player. That is friggin' with the guys. That is awesome. Forget what anyone else is saying, the naysayers and the people that say she shouldn't be there. I think it truly kicks ass that she holds her own with the guys.
Yeah, that's killer, dude. I didn't know that. That's killer. Yeah, you guys all have to add me. I don't know if we're all friends on Facebook yet or not, but make sure we connect, after the show or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I would love to get you guys out to Casey Ray's we do the open mic every Thursday. Would love to get you guys out for a feature. It would be, whenever you guys can make it. We do it every Thursday. You would get a half-hour set. It'll be upstairs at Casey Ray's. Just contact me and let me know what date would be good for you guys, and we'll make it happen, man. We'd love to have you.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
Thanks,
awesome.
man. That'd be sick.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
More than welcome, man. More than welcome.
Yeah.
Where you
So
guys- I didn't miss that earlier.
repeat that, Chuck.
Where are you guys from? I missed that earlier.
South
Which
Jersey.
town?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you, what town?
He's in Washington Township,
Yeah.
Sewell. They're like 5-6 minutes
Yeah,
away from
he's
each other.
down the street from me.
Yeah, I
Dude,
live in
I'm
Metro.
in Woodbury Heights. I'm like fucking 5 minutes from you guys.
Yeah,
There you go, man.
yeah.
That's awesome. We
Yeah.
got to jam sometime soon, man. That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Come out to our Railhouse show.
Oh
Like you're
shit,
back
when
in-
you guys there?
What day is that again?
September
16th,
16th.
I think.
September.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely come check it out. I'm up there a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Saturday night.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'll definitely be there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
It's a great spot, and I gotta say, it does my heart good to see another music spot in that area since Hot Shots went under. Now you have the Rail House, which is really cool. Shout out to George Alman, who runs their open mic. But yeah, really cool spot. Really nice location too. You can jump right on the highway and get home.
Or you
Yeah,
can jump on
yeah.
the train and get wherever you're going.
That's true too. So, guys, my last question for you is: out of the entire time that you guys have been together, favorite show? Do you have a favorite show that you guys have done together?
tough.
Yeah,
man.
that's hard, man.
That's tough.
I don't even know.
Favorite show, man. I feel like I keep thinking of Volandis, honestly, because I feel like we had no idea like what to expect,
Yeah.
and we kind of just showed up, and it was awesome. So you can't get better than that. You know what I mean? Plus, you're playing with tons of other great bands too, man. That's my favorite shows when you get a bunch of just kick-ass original bands. So yeah, I think Landis is definitely top whatever for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
You know,
I agree with that.
So
For me personally, definitely. I mean, Landis without a doubt. You know, huge stage and production wise and sound and all that. But for me, I think our first real gig, which was February 2nd of this year at the Union, not the Rock and Roll Union, but the Union Firehouse, and you know, it was just exciting to say, hey, we're playing a real venue, you know, and a lot of people showed up. We had over 50 people. A lot of Dave's friends were there, and you know, there were parts of the songs where you could hear them like screaming, and it was just so exciting to hear that and the enthusiasm from people that we knew that you know, they knew we had been building this band for years, and to finally get out was like such a relief to say, hey, we're an actual band now. And but there from that point on, we've been kind of like dialing things in, you know, getting a better live show instead of just knocking out songs, you know. Not too much shtick in there, but anyway, but you know, just cool, you know, fun times. But yeah, but that show, even though I was really nervous, it was something cool to look back on and say, I'm finally back in an original band. I'm on a stage, guys I like being in a band with. You know, it was a good thing, you know. But I mean, our best shows are yet to come, I think.
And I don't know about
There it is. There it is.
I don't know about this being our best show, but I think a big pivotal show for us was we played Artie's in Frenchtown.
oh hell yeah, I forgot about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
In the
That was awesome.
in the middle of our set, we lost power to the whole right side of the stage.
Oh
And
man.
we just kept going. And Chad ad-libbed. He had the entire crowd playing air guitar. And that was kind of the thing for us where we were like, you know what? Like, we're just going to go out every show and have fun. Every show is going to be like a practice with an audience. And I think that's another reason why people connect with us, because we are just being ourselves out there. You know, and I think that was the show where we were like, we don't have to like put on a show per se. It's like be ourselves. We're going to connect.
Yeah, it's much easier for me being the guy up front that, you know, kind of everyone is staring at, because when you're a singer, you know, it's a natural thing to look at the singer. But for me, knowing that I'm in a band with guys that I feel so comfortable with, like on and off the stage or wherever, you know, I don't care where we're playing. We'll play a dive bar. We'll play a corner of a, you know, whatever.
Anywhere,
you know, from the Landis to, you know, Vail, we don't.
that'd be awesome.
So, you know, it's just about really having fun.
Homecoming gigs.
just having fun and really just doing what we love to do. I mean,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we did a couple songs before, you know, we were live with you, just to kind of get our practice going. And,
Awesome.
It was like, you know, we played a week ago, and just sitting down and playing together again. It's like, it just has become a very natural thing for us to get together. You know, of course, you know, it took Dylan, you know, a couple of weeks to really understand what we're doing, and even for us to like play to him, and you know, it was getting to know you thing, and we still are, you know. But
Oh yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking some time to hang with us tonight. I'm gonna let you guys get back to your practice, but thank you so much for everything. Go ahead, Dave. Say that again.
I got a question for you though. So you saw both shows at the Landis. The second show, we kind of faked everyone out, and everyone thought we were ending again, and then we broke into that last song. I know, as we were like doing our big ending that we had the week before, I saw you standing up. How did you feel? Did it take you by surprise? Did you think it was awesome? Did you think it sucked? What was it? You know, what was your feeling on that?
Say that again, Chuck.
I thought it was dope. I thought it was incredible. I definitely caught it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I same here. I mean, it took me by surprise, but it was a great surprise, and I love the way that you guys handled it. I feel like the second night, the finals that you guys really captured fire that night. You guys were really on top of your game that night, and it showed. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where the rest of this goes for you guys.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot.
So, guys, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Gentlemen,
we'll
don't forget to add me, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
John.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
we'll be talking
guys.
soon.
Right.
All right, guys. That was 4130.
That's a badass.
Great band, guys. I need to mention something. We've had some comments in here, and I gotta put Island Craft Company, man. Make sure you check out Island Craft Company on Facebook. They make all kinds of killer rock merch. He was with me out there Saturday night at the at Sweeney's. Great show. He did well, man. Everybody was checking out his stuff. Really authentic. He does movie props. He does all kinds of stuff, guys. Really good guy to check out. Make sure you check out Island Craft Company on Facebook and see what they're up to. But we are changing things a little bit on the show, and the idea is, while I was riding solo for as long as I've been riding solo, we're now on show 47, and I did 45 of those shows solo. I was doing double interviews, and basically that was it. Not given a chance to really talk about music outside of individual bands or individual artists. And now we're going to take some time out. We're going to do topics each week. We're going to talk about our thoughts on the scene, whether it be the national scene, the international scene, or the local scene. Both Chuck and I have been around for a long time in that scene and have seen multiple things. But the question that we had, and I want to pull it up on Facebook real quick. I threw this out there this past week, is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that was one thing that me and Chuck talked about the moment that we met. And me and Chuck don't necessarily see eye to eye, but it's cool because you'll never understand someone else's point unless you listen to it and you accept them for their views. You don't necessarily have to agree, but it's always fun to have these friendly discussions, these debates.
But let me ask you a question real quick before we get into the rock and roll thing.
Sure.
So now I'm using the band names as an example. Don't think of it as the band, but it's just the example. So if you were in a band, would you rather have a band like Nirvana, where again, not that you're not Nirvana, but just like a band like them where they only had 4 albums, pretty much all the fans, they kind of like that were batting 1,000 as far as their discography goes, and they have a abrupt end to their career. It doesn't have to be death. It just has to be, would you rather have a career that short with 4 great albums that people remember, or would you rather be somebody like the Stones who are still playing 50 plus years in, and you got about 2 decades or maybe 2.5 decades worth of albums that no one gives a fuck about? What would you rather have?
I'll be honest, that's a very good question. Neil Young said, it's better to burn out than fade away.
It's a Kurt quote too as well. Well, Kurt said it. Rick quoting.
And I think of Aerosmith, who's one of my all-time favorite bands. I love Aerosmith. But there again is a classic example. Their last album was a decade ago. They're on their farewell tour now.
What was their last album?
That was Music from Another Dimension.
Jesus Christ, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. And there wasn't really any hits from that album. Before that was Just Push Play, which had a couple singles. Pink was on there and things like that.
That one I remember because Just Push Play was also a single, I believe.
Yeah, Just Push Play was a single. And, it got to a point for me where it was just disappointing because I want to hear the new stuff. I want to hear some new music come from you guys. And I hate to say it, but right now Guns N' Roses is kind of falling into that same aspect. They got back together 2016, and which was great, phenomenal. We all wanted to see it. And since then, we've gotten no new music.
So here's where I'm at with that. and you know my love for GNR. Like I said last week, they're the reason why I started doing music. Still love them dearly. I could probably kick Axel in the nuts for wasting like 25 years
Hell yeah.
not having new music. But I read this article a few years back that said, you know, sacrificing the good, like the how we remember a band. So, for instance, we use System of a Down. System of a Down hasn't put out a record since like 06, 2006, 7 maybe. Now, is it worth getting a new album from them now and taking the risk that it's no good? Because they haven't written music together in this many years, and so, you know. And the same goes for Guns N' Roses. So, would you rather remember like the discography as it is, or is it worth getting that last album or this album that's like maybe a little late? Like, I mean, you know, if you haven't written music together in 20 years, it's not going to click. You're not, you know, you're not going to bring back that magic. You know, I always remember bands saying, "Oh, this album is like our first album," or "This album." Korn was always good for that. Korn put out every album they put out. Oh, it sounds just like the first album, or it sounds like Life is PG. Like, no, it doesn't. No, the fuck it doesn't. And it won't, because that's, you know, you're not, there's no recapturing that hunger there, or that drive that you know, you were broke, and there's everything was so different.
Yeah.
You can't, and, you know, it's almost impossible to keep up to matching such a thing. So is it worth, like, I gotta be honest, I could do without new GNR music. I'm not super optimistic about it. Now I hope I'm proven wrong. I want nothing more than this to be an album that I fucking love and listen to. And I haven't had an album in forever that I've been like, wow, this is every second of this. No, that's not true. I guess the last Deftones album was like that for me. Ohms was fantastic, but you know, I don't. Chinese Democracy was such a disappointment, and
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of like it. Like, I kind
I
of
mean,
like.
there are some good tracks on there.
There was a time.
Better was awesome.
Better was great. Madagascar. There's a couple good songs on there. IRS.
And now we're hearing that there's a new single coming out, I believe Friday, that is another Chinese Democracy era throwback.
Yeah, like what is that? Like, who the fuck wants a Chinese Democracy era throwback?
Yeah.
What technically is the Chinese Democracy era? It took like 13 years for the album to come out. So is the era from Usual or Spaghetti Incident to Chinese Democracy, you know, coming out?
And let's be honest, it was just an Axl solo album. Basically, when you boil it all down, it's an Axl solo album.
Well, there was that. So there was apparently that the I forget what the song's called, but they put out a soundtrack, or a song on a soundtrack in 98 or 99. It was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Sympathy for the Devil, the Stones cover.
No, that was for Interview with the Vampire. This was a little bit later, and it was a very techno sounding song.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the title.
I think it came out on like End of Days, and so that lineup that they had when that song came out, apparently there was a version of Chinese Democracy that was recorded during that time, and that's where that song came from. The lineup that they had at that point, I don't remember everybody off the top of my head, but the lineup was fucking insane. It was like Robin Fink. It was a really cool combination. Nine Inch Nails, Perfect Circle, you know, just a really, from the sound of those guys together as individual musicians, this album was probably really good. I don't really remember the end of the song that they put out on End of Days. I do remember that I wasn't really crazy about it. But there supposedly was an album that was made in 99 that should have been what Chinese Democracy was. Of course, that's not what we got 9 years later or whatever it was. But you know, I'm hoping that leaks somehow, because I'd love to hear it, because, you know, they basically said they did it without Axl for the most part, because he was never there. He only showed up late at night to do his vocals, and he never really did much. So the band itself put the stuff together kind of on their own, and I'm very curious to hear that. I'm very, you know, because you know, I wouldn't even consider that a Guns N' Roses album or anything really, but I mean, just that lineup sounds pretty neat. Like, it sounded like it would be very interesting stuff coming out there.
And it's different to see GNR where they are now. It took me a minute in 2016 to get used to Robert Fortas being on drums.
Yeah,
and it was like the reunion, but it was just Slash, Axl, and Duff, which makes you wish Izzy was still in the fold.
You know, And this is the thing too, man. That I know you know this because you're a fucking a fan like I am. Izzy was the whole band, man. Izzy, once Izzy left, dude, it stopped.
Yeah.
The really good rock and roll fucking ball songs stopped. Like,
Yeah.
and I was never really a big fan of Juju Hounds, Izzy and the Juju Hounds, but I will say that I haven't given it much listen. Like I just kind of was never really interested. Heard a couple songs, didn't really grab me. But it took me a while to listen to Duff. Duff's Believe in Me. Believe in Me is okay. I think he's still a little bit fucked up, and he's still like he's not really at his best health wise when he did that.
Yeah.
But the stuff with Loaded, dude, Loaded is fantastic, man.
And then Duff just had that album come out, I want to say 3 years ago with
what's his name?
Shooter Jennings.
Yes.
And I saw them on that tour at the TLA, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, dude, Slash and Duff have not put out bad music since
No.
Guns N' Roses. There's some I don't like the vocals in the early Slash and Snake Pit stuff. I forget who that guy was. It's I don't know. I felt like that was a tough task for them. They were trying to find this Axl sounding kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like in reality, like the world had moved on, and an Axl sounding singer wasn't the coolest thing. I felt like it was just they stuck what they knew. But like the music is fantastic. The songs are great. The Miles Kennedy stuff is great. The album where he has all the, they rotating singers where he has Fergie and, Adam Levine and stuff like that. That album's great. They haven't put out bad music. Velvet Revolver, I think was bad.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Like I loved both albums. I have their album covers tattooed on my arms for Christ's sake. Like they didn't put out. That's why I say I blame Axl. We could have gotten 20 years worth of fucking great music, potentially, if Axl just was able to be, the rock star. And I understand now that I'm hearing a lot more about his personal life and his background and stuff, and it's awful. The things I've heard about him that can pertain to his childhood and stuff like that. And I get the dynamic of little bit eclectic and a little bit, not. It makes sense. It all adds up to me. But I do. It's proud. It makes me proud to see that he worked a lot of that stuff out, or he's working on it, and he's able to come back out on stage, and he's given us something.
Yeah.
We got something because I was there in 2002 when they didn't show up in Philly, and that was Buckethead, and it was Axl.
Yeah.
As I called it, Axl and Friends. That was disappointing, dude. I went by myself because I was like, this is the only chance I'm going to get to hear GNR stuff live. And I wasn't even that excited because I was like, I don't even think Axl sounds that great now. It's like a bad karaoke version of Guns N' Roses. And I'm glad that we got the rebuttal. Like I'm glad he came back and he made the joke at the end of the 16 show. Did you see them in 16?
Yeah. Twice.
It was great. It was worth every second of the wait, dude. I cried. I mean, there's a couple moments there that it's cool because like I knew this always, but Guns N' Roses is a mainstay throughout my whole life. Like their music is a fucking soundtrack. It reminds me of every instant of my life, dude. Like, there's certain albums that remind you of summer.
What's funny to me is I'm a fan of seeing someone's influences or seeing how the music progresses. And with me being a giant Aerosmith fan, you cannot help but hear Joe Perry's influence on Slash.
Oh, dude, so much so. And that's why, speaking of that, that's why I really like the Spaghetti Incident, dude. A lot of people gave that album a hard time. Listen, I know it's not a Guns album. I know it's not what we want. I know it's not fucking Appetite for Destruction. I get it. Like it's how we want it. And I was disappointed when it came out. And it took me maybe a year or two to really come around to it, but it taught me so much about bands I never knew. Because then I started looking at every band and obsessing over knowing things about them. And dude, I think some of those songs on there are some of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs. Ain't It Fun is like one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs, or one of my favorite songs that they performed ever. Ain't It Fun, I thought they did great with Since They Don't Have You. Attitude is fucking awesome. Look at Your Game, Girl. I mean, dude, the list goes on. That album's pretty fucking solid. New Rose, awesome. My buddy went and saw them last night. They were up at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay opened. Dude, did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that. I actually, friend of mine posted video of that. Yeah.
Like my boy had no idea. He had tickets, for a while. I don't know if they ever even announced that he was opening. As far as
No,
I know,
I don't think they did. And
heard that.
I mean, I also heard that the Pretenders were phenomenal. With
Yeah,
Christy Hines being 71 years old, I heard she still hasn't missed a step.
I didn't realize that they were the opener for that show until a couple days ago, and I was like, damn, that's such a great fucking combination, man. And then throw Angel Dice Clay in the middle of that. That's fucking fantastic.
Eh,
I love that Guns is relevant. I love that they're touring, all that. I wish it was earlier. I wish we got some good, decent music. I don't want rehashed. I don't want more Chinese Democracy era.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree with that.
Like Slash is working on albums with Miles Kennedy. He fucking takes a break with Guns N' Roses and has an album out with Miles in 3 months. Why can't we do that? Like,
Yeah, and Duck just came out with something not too long, like a single not too long ago that he did for mental health.
and they're oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I dug that too. I really dug that. These guys can do it, man. They've been writing songs. It seems like Slash and Duff are those really authentic musicians that's all they fucking do. You know what I mean? Is play and write songs constantly.
Yeah.
I know I've seen a documentary about Slash, and every single person said you don't ever see him without a guitar. He's got a guitar in his hand at all times, and it's so amazing to know that. Like, dude, that dude has done that. I mean, longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
And he still loves to do it every day, all day. I mean, can you name? I can't think of many people that have that are afforded that like enjoyment out of life.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's incredible, and I love that. How humble Slash always is, and I mean, to me, he seems like he might be the coolest guy on the planet. Like, for the sake of, he just seems like he's an easygoing guy, and he knows he's cool, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it. And it's amazing, dude. I love hearing him talk, and like I loved when they got back together, and I saw this clip video of all of the times that they had talked about each other on different, live television, whatever. Slash's answer never changes, ever, ever, ever. Slash always says, well, because they always say, well, how much money? I think it was Bill O'Reilly was talking to him. It was like, how much money would it take? How much money? And Slash was like, there's no amount. And he said, it's not a matter of money. It's a matter of getting in a room with somebody that the level of disrespect is hard to get past. And he said that every time, dude. He said something along those lines every time. His story never changed, never broke. Axl changes his story 4 or 5 times throughout. It seems like the actual story changes when Slash is in a project that's doing well. I remember the Velvet Revolver, the Scott Weiland Axl feud was vicious, dude.
Yeah.
Vicious. And he's a fucking flamethrower when it comes to slinging mud, dude. Like
to see them come from that to joking around on stage probably gives me the biggest smile that, like, I love seeing that.
That was the part where I like teared up when I seen them. They kind of stepped back. Slash stepped back, and Axl was right behind him. They bumped into him, and they kind of laughed it off. They just shared this moment for like a split second, and they had these genuine smiles, and like it was almost like you could see their faces. Like, can you fucking believe this, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like it was like I've seen a few moments there at that show where they would look at the crowd or something would just catch their eye, and like they would almost be in awe of like what they're seeing. Like it's got to be cool for them. I mean, I don't know about now. It's been a good 8 years, 9 years. They've been doing it pretty steady. But like at first, it had to have been real fucking cool to see fans again and to play these songs that they like loved. And I'm sure these songs, those songs remind us of a big time in our lives or an important time. Imagine what they do for them. Imagine what those songs do. I mean, have you read Slash's book?
Oh yeah. I've read just about every book on GNR, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm up there, dude. Reckless Road. Have you seen that book?
I haven't seen that one.
So it's a really cool book. Cantor, whatever the guy said, Mark Cantor, the son of Cantor's Deli. That I guess he's the owner now himself. But that was Slash's best friend growing up. I'm sure you know all this info. But him and another friend it's a scrapbook essentially where it's all the tickets, the ticket stubs, the location, the set list, pictures, all this stuff from every show that they played before they were signed.
Wow.
So it shows you in order, and there's an official, a real picture, like a picture of the real flyer, the real set list. I mean, they collected everything, and dude, it's a fantastic book. Like I said, it's not it's not too bit much of a read. It's more of a, it's like a scrapbook, but it is amazing, dude. Like seeing it and just watching something like that, and these guys did such a great job of putting it in order and everything, and you see the growth in this book of, you see the flyers get better looking, and you see the gigs get bigger, and it's really neat, man. It's really fucking neat,
man. And it's funny to me how long, like, God, it was 2016. So what are we talking? 7 years ago now?
yeah.
So they've been doing this for 7 years, and
there's not many breaks, dude. They haven't taken many breaks. If they're off the road, they're back on in a month. They haven't been, they've been
my
off the road.
favorite thing about the whole reunion was the first show that they came back. They did the Whiskey a Go Go.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just, I'd have paid any amount of money to be in that club that night.
I agree.
Because it was just the perfect way to restart that.
And there's nothing, like, I can't imagine the electricity in the air that night in that building, how many times they had played there before, and just, I'm sure the crowd it was a lot of people that were there back then too. I'm sure it was probably one of the coolest fucking reunions, of people we don't know,
Hell yeah.
ever, dude. Like it probably was a very cool vibe, man.
But I guess we're going to save this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame discussion for next week.
We did kind of jump into GNR there. Yeah, like one of the things though I'd say about GNR, and I can say this about a few bands, but not many, dude. They were a band. Like when you find another GNR fan, like how we met and why we started talking that back patch. I have so many friends. I don't know if I told you the story already, but I had a buddy. So I moved to Jersey in 9th grade from Philly. My first or second day I'm in school. I go into the bathroom and there's this dude in there. He's smoking a cigarette. He looks a little older and he's just like, cool high school guy. And I'm new, fresh out of water, So he's wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt. And I said, "Oh, cool shirt, man." And Slash had just left. Not long, like it was still pretty fresh. It was maybe a month or two before. And we both were like, "Man, now the Slash is out. That's it, man. I'm not keeping up anymore, And I was like, it'd be so cool if one day they got back together and we made a pact. Me and that dude made a pact. If they ever get back together, dude, we're going to go. We remained friends that whole time. We went 26 years.
That's awesome.
There's a picture of us in the parking lot, dude, together. And it was like, that was the reason why we became friends. And like that, I have so many stories like that. Mine and your story, our conversation, how genuine it was right away. My buddy Mike is one of my closest friends. They had a GNR patch and it was like this connection. It was just like, you get it, you get it. And like me and Mike, for example, came over one night. We just talked fucking GNR shows and songs. I mean, dude, it's crazy. Like how cool, like not many bands make people connect like that. Like,
yeah, you're right.
It was like this bottle, like lightning in a bottle that if you were there to see it and you were at the right age range, man, it was fucking magical, dude. And the people that understand it, they get it, and they get you. We understand each other better because Guns N' Roses fucking raised us in a way,
Hell yeah, you're right, 100%.
And it's cool because you don't get that much, man. It's great I'm happy to say I was there for that,
But looking forward to next week. We got your buddies coming on. I know you know these guys well. Getzinger.
Oh yes. Oh my God. I get to interview Mike Getzinger. Oh, Getzinger.
Yeah, he's coming on, man.
I get to interview oh, dude. So do you know that the Resonators and the Bad Motherfuckers are the same band, but we just well, not anymore. But when we had Nick in the Bad Motherfuckers, essentially the Resonators were Nick Dylan on drums and Mike Plefka on bass, and then the Bad Motherfuckers were Nick Dylan on drums and our friend Caesar on bass. You met Caesar. So we always said that we were like an interchangeable bands, like we were the same band, with just switch a bass player and a front man. And man, it's Getz is a cool dude. I can't wait. I'm so excited I'm going to write some questions, dude. I'm really looking forward to picking his brain because he's a buddy of mine, a very close friend, and he is one of the most intelligent and one of the most open-minded and caring, creative people I've ever met. and I'm excited, dude. That's very exciting to get to chat with them.
And then we also have another band that was on the Battle of the Bands, Death Wish Coffee Battle of the Bands, the Jetties. I don't know if you knew them or saw them at all.
I didn't see
Jetties
that.
were
I saw their
involved in
name.
that. So we'll be joined by the Jetties as well next week. So really looking forward to that. And any last words, Chuck, before we get out of here?
No, man. Bad motherfucker season is upon us, so act accordingly. Live from your mama house coming soon, and we'll be back next week.
There it is, guys. We will be back next week. Until next time, don't just leave it. Leave it better. Have a good week, guys.
Peace.